Welcome back to another week of Kernel at the Buzzer. Before this podcast starts, we want to remind you that everyone on today's podcast has their own opinions and they do not reflect the Kernel in entirety. Welcome back to another week of Kernel at the Buzzer, the final week of Kernel at the Buzzer for the semester. Once again, I'm joined by my co-hosts Israel, Schill, and AJ Nava. Guys, this is the last one, and unfortunately, we do have to kind of start it with some bad breaking news that we got today. This morning we found out that Georgia Amoore, after her, getting drafted in the lottery, number 6 in the WNBA draft, I'm pretty sure like 3 days after they start practicing, she hurts her ACL, man. And it's just like,
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was literally like 2 weeks after she got drafted.
2 weeks.
Yes. 2 weeks after she got drafted and another 2 weeks before the start of the season.
Yeah.
Just like that.
It's just terrible timing. It's horrible.
And she's one of those people, too, like, been in college 5 years. She didn't have to make that jump, to play at Kentucky. Like, she could have went right from Virginia Tech right into the WNBA. She took that extra year, and now that she finally made it, it's like she's already sidelined. Thankfully, not sure if it's like an ACL tear yet. It could be a sprain. There's not any confirmation yet as of Wednesday, April 30th, but we shall see as the week goes on. Hoping the best for Georgia.
Yeah, hoping it's not. I mean, do we know if it's torn?
No,
there's no official report
further
on
details.
what it is. It's just ACL.
That's tough.
That's all anybody
That's
knows.
tough. So I guess praying that it's not torn.
Yep. Hopes and prayers go out to Georgia.
At least she can hopefully try and get out on the court her rookie year. It would be great.
Yeah.
Definitely would be great.
I prefer that she takes as much time as she needs to get it healthy so she can have a long, prosperous WNBA career.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. In some very good news, however, though, we had so many Wildcats make their next step in their career, go into the NFL.
We did.
What was the official number?
7 so far.
7 Wildcats so far.
2 were actually drafted with Maxwell Hairston in the first round.
Shout out.
And then Deion Walker later took it on to the Buffalo Bills as well. So those 2 will be back together, playing together. The only difference is, though, that Mad Max could be starting for the Buffalo Bills. And I'm not even going to say could be. I would say most likely will start for the Buffalo Bills. And that's going to be very cool to see a Kentucky guy just out there day one. Deion could be like in the mix, rotating very heavily.
Yeah, I mean,
but
that's a front. That's a defensive front with a lot of talent.
Yeah, but he fits. I will say he
Yeah.
fits their
no problem
mold and their scheme very well. So he could be
big boy punishing up front.
Yeah, down the line that could be your third down guy you throw in the middle there.
Stick him right on the nose guard.
But I can go ahead and list them off just for the viewers in case they didn't know. But Zion Childress signed with the Dallas Cowboys. Jamon Dumas Johnson signed with the Packers. I can't say this guy's name. Marquez Cox signed with the Denver Broncos. Eli Cox signed with the Houston Texans.
Not related.
Yeah, not related.
Not related. Not even
and
close.
Then Travion Ripka signed with the Miami Dolphins. I'm just expecting Alex Rayner to maybe sign somewhere else. That's the only other Wildcat maybe. Or your running back that you love so much from last Demi. He could get scooped.
Yeah.
But
I still don't know how to pronounce his last name. I've just been calling
Sumo Karnbai.
Is that how it is?
I think. Or Karnbai, yeah.
Somewhere along those lines.
Sounds good enough to me. I've just been calling him Demi.
Hey.
I mean, it's good.
Demi could possibly get signed somewhere. It's not completely out of the realm of
more
possibility.
Surprised, though, that Alex Rayner didn't get picked up.
Yeah.
Even in the late rounds for a guy that was seemed to be as pro-ready as any kicker out there could be, hitting a 60-yarder during the season.
I watched him
one
during
of Kentucky's big highlights, that 60-yarder.
Sadly.
I watched him during the pro day for Kentucky football, and I mean, like, he looked sharp. And I mean, I saw a lot of the scouts kind of ranging around him. He started off the workout. I mean, he hit a 60-yarder there, nearly hit a 70, like hitting 50s with ease. I was like, obviously that's in the practice facility and that's not an NFL field, but I feel like he had a good enough film put together from last season for someone to pick him up in the draft.
Well, especially for like an offense that was constantly kicking field goals and turning the ball over and punting and not really doing much. So that was like the guy who was scoring a lot of their points. So you would think that with that kind of reel that he put together, I'd have figured he'd get drafted.
I do want to get your all's kind of takes that, this Kentucky football team last year wasn't the best. That's an understatement.
Slightly putting it, I'd say.
But you still have some very good NFL prospects. I want to get your all's kind of insight on who you think can exceed expectations, or if you think these guys are just signing as free agents and they'll be shipped around a couple times. I think out of there, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few guys from the 7 that, I mean, I guess we can exclude the 2 who were actually drafted. So we'll go out of the 5 who were picked up later on. I feel like Eli Cox is a guy who could give you 13 Pro Bowls, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Lane Johnson type of guy.
Yeah, type of guy, you know what I mean? I think that's a given. I think it was very obvious he was going to get picked up after the draft. And
going to the Texans of all places, where he's obviously – that O-line struggled last season, so he's going to get a ton of chances this year coming up.
And he's got a lot of versatility, being able to do center and guard at the combo position, so he's – already got that jump over some linemen who aren't able to do that. Another name who I think will do something, Zion Childress. Just watching him over the time that I've been at Kentucky, it was always like, that's an NFL talent. I felt like when I was watching him, 55 tackles last season, 34 of them were solo. So he's just getting to the ball carrier and taking them down instantly. I do think that there will be a lot of chances for these 5 guys to hopefully get out there, obviously rookie camps, but during OTAs later on in the summer. I'm excited to see how it goes for them, though.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, with the Cowboys' secondary struggles, that could be somebody who, I'm not going to say start day one, but could be very heavily influenced in the lineup going into that first week. Mm-hmm. So, AJ, what about you?
I completely agree with Israel on all fronts. I said it once, Eli Cox, he's going to be in that rotation, no doubt, a lot this season for Texans. Because, I watch every Texans game.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to be excited to see how that plays out. I'm going to be constantly telling my mom about, hey, this guy Eli Cox on the line. Look out for him. I watched him in college. And I'd say someone who sticks out to me as well is Childress, because that secondary unit for the Cowboys, not only is it not something you want to put your eye on, they are very old and kind of withering away.
More so just, I feel like they're real injury prone.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
They're real injury prone.
Diggs was hurt all last
season.
I don't think they have Stephon Gilmore anymore. I'm not sure. I think he's gone now.
Stephon Gilmore is out. I'm not gonna lie.
But
I haven't paid a lot of attention to him.
Either way, Zion is still gonna.
No, he's still on the cap.
He is.
Oh, actually, he's a free agent now. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. So Zion has very good leeway to just insert himself there.
Mm-hmm.
I know Zion also said he was really happy with the interviews that the Cowboys gave him, that they felt very away from the other teams, how everyone else was very similar, but his interviews with the Cowboys and who else, the Lions, the Ravens, and the Bengals were sticking out to him the most.
The Cowboys seem like they've always been more, although they seem like they want to be offensively oriented, defensively oriented, I feel like is always how the Cowboys end up being. They always have a good defensive coordinator.
If they lean into that identity, Zion's gonna kind of strive.
And I think regardless, like they got an eye for talent in Dallas, regardless of what people say. Like, you know what I mean? They get good guys. Whether or not they develop those guys and do great things with them is another thing. Regardless, I think
it's a different story for a different podcast.
Yeah, it's a different story for a different time. But I think
how about them Cowboys?
I'm going to go with Pop as my NFL breakout.
Okay.
Just because the Packers front line has been respectable, nothing out of the ordinary. But outside of now having, like, they still have Jair Alexander, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah. Jair, Xavier McKinney, that secondary that's out there, nobody really focuses on their interior seven. So I feel like, sorry, I totally just hit your computer.
No, you're good.
But I feel like Pop is going to be able to get some reps, some early preseason reps, and maybe kind of find himself in that like third, second unit maybe, and be the guy who can make a big play. He really took a jump up after the pro day, and I mean like highest long jump and all these things he did at the pro day. I mean
he also won 2 national championships at
that
Georgia.
is true.
That does. I mean, that helps a lot.
So
I feel like he's an experienced guy. He can get in there and know what he's doing.
Absolutely.
NFL speed's NFL speed, but that's going to be my breakout call there.
Cool. Well, I guess we all got our little individual picks for Kentucky guys, but how do you guys feeling about the rest of the draft? You know, kind of
It was
the
interesting.
trades made. The Travis Hunter trade, obviously the Browns picked 2 quarterbacks, Shador and Dylan Gabriel. I know, Kyle, you got a lot to say about that.
I mean, it's.
No, go ahead, speak.
Speak your mind, Kyle. Speak your mind.
I think the
Don't hold back.
Browns had.
Don't.
They really did have an A+ draft, and
A plus.
they did.
We had this
And I'll
conversation
put it-
walking to class the other day,
It's true.
and
I
I was like,
I'm
you're
gonna-
happy with the trade?
yeah, I'm gonna throw some other names out there. I think the Patriots had an amazing draft.
Agreed.
I think the Panthers had an amazing draft.
Agreed.
Cool.
And off the top of my head, I honestly think the Steelers had a really good draft.
Yeah.
Getting
Who
Will,
did the Steelers
Will
draft?
Howard.
they got Will Howard, and they got oh my God, Jack Sawyer from Ohio State.
Mhm.
Edge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they had some other guys in there too, obviously, but those two
They really fit. I
having
feel like
two
they
former
fit the Pittsburgh.
teammates, yeah, and they fit Pittsburgh. You have a very accurate quarterback with Will Howard, and then you're gonna add Sawyer alongside Patrick Queen and T.J. Watt. It's like, my lord, I mean, you're just no
That's a good
offense is
front.
gonna be safe.
Yeah, that's a good front. I mean, offensive lines are going to be fearing all season.
With the Browns, I will say they did something with confidence for once.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big thing for Cleveland, to
They
not let the
drafted,
media
Tim
affect
Couch
you.
with a lot of confidence, bro.
Hey, listen, I'm saying with Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski, they've never really gone into a draft and been ever so confident together, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
They've never had these first-round picks together. They've had the Miles and Baker pick, but, I mean, those were givens at the time. This year,
but I feel like besides we can put aside all like the first, top 5 quarterback picks that
Sure.
they've done in the last 15 years because
Sure.
they were all bad.
but now it's like this year.
Wow.
This
They were
year,
all
it felt
bad.
like
Oh.
Travis Hunter was guaranteed number 2.
Mhm.
You take Travis Hunter. That's what a lot of the media was kind of pushing for the Browns to do. And with assertiveness, they're just traded away to Jacksonville. And they finish off their defensive line by getting Mason Graham, also keeping Myles Garrett happy, and getting that extra defensive guy to help him out. Boom. And then with that Jags trade, they set themselves up for the rest of the draft, and they also get a first-round pick next year.
Oops.
Okay.
Oh,
Misclick.
scary.
Okay. Staying on topic though.
No. But then you get a linebacker.
sorry.
Last part of the year, you just do
Oh,
whatever
just
you
do
want.
whatever, you know what I'm saying?
They get a very NFL-ready linebacker from UCLA. They get 2 solid running backs, and they get 2 solid quarterbacks. I think it was a great draft. Also with the Patriots, I have to look up their exact drafts, but I do know they got Travion Henderson.
Yes.
Travion Henderson.
Great pick to throw right next to Ramondre Stevenson, I think, in the backfield.
Yeah.
Because those are, like, it's. I'm not going to say it's like the Sonic and Knuckles for Detroit, but, like,
No.
you know what I mean? It's like a good 1-2 punch that can really,
The
like.
Sonic and Knuckles. What a comparison for the 1-2 punch.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can't really compare him to the best running back duo in the league, but you can say that 2 young running backs who still have their stamina, who haven't been beaten to the ground yet after 8-9 seasons, can take a lot of those third down situations back and forth off of each other to try and help the Patriots
And
get
we
through.
also speak of Eli Cox being a Pro Bowl guy. Let's talk about Will Campbell being a Pro
Oh
Bowl guy.
man,
That's
Oh,
someone that's
man.
going to stay in New England for the latter part of his career.
yeah,
He's going to
die for Drake May.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's
That
going to
was
die
like
for Drake May.
in full emotion at the draft.
It was
and,
pretty awesome.
and him just like
Gotta protect
crying.
my
I
quarterback.
gotta protect my quarterback. I'll die for
Because
him.
he
like,
doesn't want to work at Amazon.
No,
he does not wanna
goodness,
work
no,
at
he does not want to work
And
at
I will say the Kyle Williams pickup is also very, very sneaky because Kyle Williams is a deep threat wide receiver out of Wazoo that can instantly kind of transform the Patriots' Patriots offense to having a guy like Stephon Diggs who can just be your yak demon. He can be what Diggs is, and then you throw Kyle Williams on your streak. You have Travion pass blocking, Ramondre going out. It kind of gives the offense some like character for once instead of just throwing Kendrick Bourne out there.
Well,
and
don't say for once,
nobody
because don't say for
names and-
once, because the offense had a lot of character like
I
10
mean,
years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but
for
now,
in the
the
new
Drake
era,
May
the
era.
Drake May era for sure.
it gives the offense some character,
Yeah.
and that is always good.
But more so, I think the pick of Will Campbell, because I had to argue with my roommate for like 30 minutes on why Ashton Genty shouldn't have been picked over Will Campbell. Like, he was like, Patriots need to draft Genty. That's who they need. And I told
Yeah.
him, Genty is a great pick for a squad that's a running back away from a Super Bowl. But you can't pick him up on a team that has no offensive line to block for him, nobody to make gaps for him through the defense.
Yeah.
And you need somebody to protect Drake May so he's not just dropping back and getting nailed to the ground
And let's
within 2
even-
seconds.
I mean, be honest. You look at Genty's contract. Imagine the Patriots took him and give this guy $30 million,
Yeah.
and he's doing what Ramondre is doing and just
Yeah.
getting blitzed because there's no
Yeah.
line. So.
And a great running back can only do so much with a bad offensive line.
So who do you think really nailed it in the NFL draft, or is there a certain pick that's sticking out and you're like,
I think
man, that was a
in
good pick?
terms of what a team needed, the Texans hit the nail on the head. I was paying the most
Valid.
attention to them, honestly. But no,
Yeah, I guess we're all kind of looking
Yeah.
at our own teams here.
we
but
all
it's-
well,
it's
we all know the
okay.
problem with receivers and how injured they got
Yeah, of
this
course.
year, and they picked
Especially
up
with
two.
Diggs leaving.
Yeah, they got the two solid Iowa State guys, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, who are they're NFL ready in my opinion.
Yeah.
I've seen highlights. They've crept their way into my feed, and I studied them just a little bit
There you
after I
go.
saw we got them picked up, and
It's
that's a
locked
great
in.
pickup. I was really questioning that quarterback pick
Yeah.
for some reason.
I
didn't-
mean, you know.
I don't see why.
Well, you got to think about it like looking back, you know, Patriots drafted multiple quarterbacks when Tom Brady was obviously not going anywhere. So you sometimes have to just draft quarterbacks to sit behind and learn, develop, whether they go out somewhere else after or they end up being, you know, a 12-year backup for the Texans. You got to have somebody.
Gotta have
You got to
backup.
have somebody else in the QB room. So if CJ Stroud gets hurt,
Yep.
you got somebody to
I
replace
mean,
him
look
with.
at your Bailey Zappies
Exactly.
that you had.
True.
So it's
Exactly.
yeah. I will throw out another name. The Seattle Seahawks had a great draft, and I
Mhm.
thought they were a team on their defensive side of the ball. Like, this is their year where they've reached their like development point where it's like, okay, let's see what they can actually do. And they don't have that excuse like, oh, they're young. Like, just wait.
Yeah, yeah.
They pick up Sam Darnold in free agency. That's their quarterback now. You
It's a
pick
good
up
pickup, hopefully.
Cooper Kupp in free agency as well. To
Whether
go
or not
along.
people say he's old and washed is whatever. He's still Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp's Cooper Kupp. And you also have JSN, who I could very well argue is the wide receiver one now over Cooper Kupp just because of his potential and the ceiling that he has. But Seattle goes out and gets Nick Emmanwari from South Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
who's a stellar safety.
Yeah.
That is a Cam Chancellor replacement.
And
It
that's
very
adding
well could
depth
be.
too, because they're already. I'm not gonna say they're like well off at safety, but they got starters there.
They're all right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That's good depth.
they pick up guards, they pick up tackles, they get, their guys they need on that offensive line,
Mm-hmm.
and a very, 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 very sneaky pick. Well, I will say Torrey Horton from Colorado State at wide receiver is a great pickup.
Mm-hmm.
There in the 5th round. But at number 238 out of UNLV, they pick up
Mhm.
wide receiver Ricky White. And Ricky White,
Ricky
just,
White, the third.
The third.
Put some respect on his
just
name.
from college football, the video game experience, is a dog. And we've used him all year, dude. And this was our reasoning because he had such a good card in the game. We're like, we're going to watch him this week. Dude popped off for like 200 yards in week 4.
He also.
And we're like, yo,
I'm
Ricky
so
White
glad your whole
is
analysis
gospel.
wasn't on college football.
I'm gonna
the
ignore the
But
college
Ricky
football
White's
reference.
the gospel, and
Speaking
I promise,
of Ricky White, though,
that Seahawks team is going to be good.
I think Ricky White's more than just a good wide receiver, though. I mean, special teams player of the year for the Mountain West in 2024. He
blocked like
four,
3 punts.
4 blocked punts and a touchdown. John Schneider said compared him to Donald Driver, highlighting his potential to develop into a great contributor on offense.
He's got the resume and he's got the other guys talking him up. So,
and I will say too, if Sam Darnold doesn't work out, and you're like, hey,
who do we got in the QB room?
Jalen
Good
Milroe.
old Jalen Milroe.
So
that's a good pickup, I think, in the third round.
Any Bama quarterback is going to be a good pickup.
But also, I think that Jalen Milroe is such like a head down, hardworking guy. He always has been that way. He's real humble. He knows his worth, and he knows that now I'm on an NFL squad. I'm just gonna work. I'm just gonna work, and I'm gonna see what I can do. Obviously, they just signed Sam Darnold for a lot of money, but
a lot.
That's a lot.
How much money?
A lot.
Like
$140
million a year.
Yeah.
Dang.
Like a lot of money. But Jalen Milroe, obviously a great pickup, young guy. Not sure if Sam Darnold's the best guy to have him sit behind, but it's still a starting quarterback with NFL experience.
Yeah, I'm gonna leech off to the Panthers because the Panthers are the team I'm predicting to be like on that playoff bubble next year.
Okay.
And take that like next step up. Bryce Young looks stellar to end the season, and I'm a true believer in everything that Carolina's doing right now. And they go out and get arguably the best receiver in the draft with McMillan, and then they get 2 edge threats to help out their defense. They get Trevor Etienne from Georgia to go back there with Chuba Hubbard, and then they get some other pieces on defense. Draft Jimmy Horn out of Colorado. And I'm looking at that team, and I'm like, yeah, it's young. Yeah, maybe some guys are going to be thrown in the fire. But the way Bryce Young went out last year, I really think the Panthers have, after day 3 and looking at everything, like they have built a roster that can win at least 8 games.
Yeah,
but even if they're young teams always lead to excitement and great football.
True. Look at the Commanders.
I do want to bring up Tet McMillan because there was a lot of talk that he was a little lazy at Arizona, that he wouldn't run full speed during his plays. He was kind of lazy in his route running. He had a not amazing attitude. There was a lot of talk about that coming into the draft. Obviously, didn't really affect his draft stock. He still went top 10.
Number 8, yeah.
Yeah, so
doesn't matter.
I guess it doesn't matter. He's at the end of the day, he's a big frame, great receiver, I think, but it'll really just, his worth will really tell depending on how much heart he puts in to the beginning of the season.
Because you can be lazy and still be a natural star in college.
Yeah,
you can't
be lazy in the NFL. It doesn't work.
It's always you always gotta go.
You
full
see
speed.
it not work. You see laziness not work in the NFL every time. So
we do have to mention with the NFL draft that the Green Bay Packers, for the first time in 23 years, drafted a wide receiver in the first round with Matthew Golden, and that kind of like puts
random
together
stat.
Jordan Love's offense almost. That gives him the wide receiver, the extra wide receiver he needs. And hey, man, Pack is back. Like
Pack is back.
I can get on the train.
They also had a not bad. They also had a not bad draft, especially with all those fans hanging around.
Yeah, B+ draft.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I'd say.
B+ is not bad.
Texans is a name being thrown around. Honestly, we haven't even really got into him yet. Travis Hunter. What's he going to be in
I feel like we haven't talked about him or Shador really at all. The fact that Shador fell to the 5th round in general. But
let's talk about the top 3
Travis
here.
Hunter
Let's talk
first.
about Cam Ward first, actually.
Yeah, okay, Cam Ward. I mean, that's a...
How are we feeling?
He's like...
He deserves it.
Yeah, he's like one of those like not very flashy guys. He's, blue collar, going to go in, work real hard.
He almost has a Jalen Hurts temperament.
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel like. He's, like calm, cool, collected, great quarterback, obviously.
And regardless of it all, gets the work done. Like, it's the same result, flashy or not.
I think it's a no-brainer to pick him at 1.
And then Travis Hunter, I mean, what do you all... He's probably the most talked about guy, too. They were calling him the franchise, flip arounder.
I mean,
is
I
what
went
they
through the
used on
Jags
ESPN
social
on it.
media the night he got drafted.
Oh, that.
First of all, the funniest thing ever. Like, they were posting, like, SpongeBob clips. They were posting, like, everything. They had edits of everything. And so I think they're excited, to say the least. I'm sure Jags fans are awfully excited. But I would be, too. I mean, regardless, I think, of whether he stays two-way or he goes to a single position, right now it's looking like he's going to stay two-way with what the GM is saying. You know,
And apparently 2 different jerseys for 2 different positions. I heard talks of that.
is that what they're saying?
Yeah, they're saying he's going
Maybe.
to switch in between.
It's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah.
Imagine him getting an interception and then having to come off the field
He's
to
definitely
put on
gonna
a new
wear
jersey
the
and then
same
come back out.
jersey.
He's definitely going to wear the same jersey.
He was just talking, but it's still funny to think
yeah,
about.
it's talking out his butt. But regardless, I think that's a great pick for the Jags. Also a no-brainer, like Cam Ward. You can't not pick Travis Hunter when he's on the board because regardless of what position he's playing, he's going to be good.
I'm going to say that, like, Travis Hunter is a guy that's going to feel like a y'all know that meme with, like, the McLaren and it's in front of, like,
the Bugatti and, like, in
Oh,
the
it's in the
trailer
trap
park.
house.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
and it's like
it is.
I don't expect Jacksonville to be anything, but if they're going to be, it's going to be because of Travis Hunter.
Yeah, they're going to
Yeah.
play through him so totally.
Yeah.
I mean, they
So,
got some pieces there, too.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
still have Tank and ETN,
Obviously, Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes,
it's
of
not like he's
course.
got like a bum throwing to him next season.
No, but I also just don't. I can't take the Jags serious.
No, it's
I can't.
impossible to take. I mean, I couldn't even take the Jags seriously in like 2018 when they made it to the AFC Championship with Blake
Bortles.
Bortles because it was Blake Bortles. Like, you know,
Yeah, talk about a team we can't take serious. But
the
I'm
Browns.
okay.
That's what
I
was
thought that was the
that's what I
segue into
kinda
the
thought
Browns.
was
No.
the
I thought we were
segue
going
was
to talk
be
about Shadur.
Shadur, but
Yeah.
it's okay.
Like,
This
it's
is
okay to admit
Oh,
it.
are you going into the Giants?
This is gonna be
Yeah,
my
okay.
boom of the year.
Okay.
The New York Giants are back, and
Because of Abdul
Jax-
Carter?
No, because of Jackson Dart.
Oh, that's a good pick too.
The Dart man is going to
The Dart Man.
Yeah,
Is that what they're calling him?
that's
Is that what
I'm
you're calling
him.
him? Okay.
Okay.
Alright,
He's
I like
going
it.
to revive the city of New York. They're going to forget the Jets exist, and they're just all
I
going to
think
be
they
Giants
already
fans.
kind of forgot
Yeah.
the Jets existed
True.
like 20 years ago.
But
Wow.
talk about this like crazy Giants defense.
Yeah.
Like they do have a good defense already, and you throw Abdul Carter out there.
Shout out Abdul Carter for having like
Hey.
the most guts in the world asking asking for the number 56 is like
Yeah.
why would you
Alright.
even ask?
Hey man, I mean maybe he is the next. No, probably
Don't-
not.
I mean, but even then, he said it best: make a number for yourself.
Yeah, and let's talk about how they totally just replaced Saquon Barkley
Mhm.
with
Yep.
a better version of him, in my opinion.
Better version?
better
My
Better
is
version?
crazy.
I'm just a Cam Scatterboo stan.
Better
but
version is crazy.
Better
Cam
version just
Scatterboo
isn't true.
Is like one
Scat
of,
is-
Sorry, it's just
he's
not
one
true.
of like the hardest working guys I've ever seen. And got so much love for the game. He was so happy to be drafted by the Giants, which is ridiculous to think about because how could you I guess happy to be drafted one thing, but happy to be drafted to the Giants is a whole another dilemma.
Well, I'm sure he'll hit him in like a day or two. A day or two
Probably.
after
when
the
he,
draft,
when he
they hit
moves
him.
to
Yeah.
when he moves to where is it?
what?
In New Jersey? Where do they play? Oh, I can't think of it off the top of my head for some reason.
But regardless.
But regardless, what
I'm
I
gonna
mean?
say like just don't be surprised if they throw Russell Wilson out there start the year, and then
East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Can't wait till he moves there, dude.
But don't be surprised if they throw Russ out there to start the year. He underperforms, and Dartman comes
Mhm.
in, hits Malik Neighbors, and then you have Tyrone Tracy and
Russ
Cam
is a great
Scatterboo
guy for him to sit behind too.
and
because-
Jameis.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't.
I just love James.
I wouldn't want to be in a QB room with two other dudes if I was Jackson Dart. That's got to be like the ultimate vibe room right
Oh,
there.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Can
Because
we?
you have like your good Christian, like perfect guy, and then you
Jameis
got
Winston, and then you
Jameis
got,
Winston.
Yeah.
He's I'm just saying, like Jamo's hilarious, dude.
Yeah,
He's
never
more Christian
change.
than Russ.
Yeah,
Please,
please never
please never
change.
change.
He is
Um,
like, I don't know, like Russ is just so put together and looks
Mhm.
like if you were to build a robot human, like it'd be Russell Wilson, and then Jameis is like literally encapsulate of like a dog in a human's body.
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
like
And it's
golden
just
retriever.
yeah, man.
Like
He's just having a good
to the
time
pinnacle of it.
regardless.
For sure.
Maybe-
Can we finally get into Shador real quick?
Yeah,
Because
let's
I
talk
just
about-
want to talk
let's
about it
that
real
prank
quick.
call.
First of all, the
Let
prank
me-
call.
The
Yeah.
prank call
I-
was legendary.
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 Oh,
You're gonna have
crazy.
to wait a little longer.
That's
like wow.
crazy.
And to
Like, are
have
we
it
serious?
caught live on
in
stream.
his face when he was like,
Yeah.
the picture, I was like, come on.
Like that's
it's
insane.
And then he posted the apology. Okay, I mean, I guess
They-
for
they
anybody who doesn't
fined-
know, yeah, it was Falcons defensive coordinator's son
Mm-hmm.
who
Yep.
got the phone number from an email sent out to coordinators during the draft. And I guess he saw.
How does that happen?
He says I guess there was a claim that he saw the number written down on a piece of paper on his dad's desk, and he took a picture of it or took the paper or something like that. And so they called him up. He was in the room, but he's not the one who called him. Whatever. Everybody knows what happened after that.
Yep.
He apologized. I thought it was funny at first.
I would have never fessed up if I was him.
I mean,
I would have. He would have never gotten
He
caught.
got hunted down on the internet.
Well, they recorded it.
Oh,
because
yeah.
it was recorded.
Something
So they were like, "Oh, this is the son of the defensive coordinator." So you get caught. Good try.
Good
I thought
try.
it was funny.
It's gonna
As
be
somebody
funny
who's
for
not
years.
like a huge Shador truther, I think that's hilarious. I think like he already I think he deserved to be a 5th round quarterback. I don't think he's gonna be that good, but I think the prank call. What was it like the 2nd round, 1st round?
Yeah.
Like that's hilarious.
See, it's hilarious because eventually he did got picked up.
He did. Yeah.
he
If
did.
he went undrafted, that would have been a whole different thing.
Still would have been funny, but would
It
have
would've
been,
been even
way
more.
worse.
It would've been
Would've
way
way worse.
So I mean, guys, elephant in the room. I mean, ask away. What do you want to know?
5 quarterbacks,
Yeah,
2 rookies.
I think the whole reasoning behind it is one. Watson more than likely is probably
Not gonna play.
not going to play
Mhm.
for the Browns at least this season.
don't
I could
think-
very well see him getting released or
I think
shipped
he's
off.
probably
Yeah.
going to get released. I think he probably won't play
Um,
football in the NFL ever again.
yeah. I mean,
It's done for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then when you get into the Kenny Pickett situation,
Yeah.
he can be a boom or bust for Cleveland, but just from what I know, I expect him to be kind of the practice squad leader, someone who's maybe not on the main roster all year, but is kind of there just to be there. And I expect Flacco, who's been in the system, been with the coach already, to be the day one starter. And you have 2 rookies.
You know,
Iron
Dylan
sharpening
Gabriel
iron.
and Shador Sanders. Who do
And-
you want to see?
I mean, I love Joe Flacco. It was great watching him play, and really,
I love Joe Flacco.
first playoff appearance in forever
He's
since
the
the Baker
best.
days. So
Came
it's
in
like,
through like 350 yards and a couple tutties. So like, he's ridiculous.
yeah. But I mean, it's kind of a conflict because Sooner guy, he's more known for Oregon nowadays, but Dylan Gabriel. And I'm a Shador Sanders truther. Like, I believe that he is, I'm not going to say anything crazy, but I believe that he is, like, worthy of being that 1st round pick that he was originally projected to be.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree
why
more.
not?
I'd say
but,
second.
Why not?
dude,
What do you mean? What do
He
you
was
mean,
a
dude?
solid quarterback, man.
he was a
He's
fine quarterback.
solid.
He was okay, fine. He was a solid quarterback on a horrible team for like 3 years and was only, first of all, committed to. Let's talk about the history of Shador. Committed to FAU out of high school.
Yeah.
You
FAU
do
out
have
of
strong
high school,
feelings
right?
about this.
Jackson State, baby.
Only went to Jackson State because his dad was the head coach,
Mhm.
obviously.
That's
Mhm.
awesome.
Where him and Travis Hunter went. So Nepo baby. So we'll talk. You
say it
whatever
like
you
he
want.
didn't deserve that scholarship.
I think he deserved his FAU scholarship to like a a bad D1 football team. And then you bring him to Jackson State, which he'd like, okay, at Jackson State, he's picking up momentum. He was doing good, but playing nobody. And then he went to Colorado, was horrible in his 2 seasons there. Got his jersey retired.
How was he horrible? He broke 100-some records.
No, he didn't.
Yes, Colorado records.
Okay.
He broke like hundreds.
Okay, but that's like, think about it like this. If
I'm not saying they
If Tom Brady
crazy
in
or
college
nothing, but-
went to like Northern Kentucky, I'm sure he would have smashed every record at Northern Kentucky.
Well, the thing about Colorado, it's a prestigious program. Like
Not for football.
I'm saying, like, he kind of revived it. It was
His
in the
dad
90s.
revived it.
Dude, Travis
dad
Hunter,
coming
they
to
all as a
Colorado.
collective.
Like, they were all part of the process.
Yeah.
You can't just put it on one guy. They were all part of the process of
You
revising.
can't argue against somebody that put up 4,000 yards and 40 touchdowns with a
37.
horrible offensive line.
37 touchdowns.
Because, I mean, that's a
3
big thing.
touchdowns off.
That's a big thing to mention, man. Like, if you look, not even speaking as a fan, like, if you look at the O-line difference between the Browns and Colorado, it's night and day. And I'm not saying he's going to thrive in the NFL instantly, but just playing with that kind of difference and also having a run game, you don't realize how important that is. And
You think NFL defenses don't know how to stop a QB with a run game these days?
I understand.
The only one they can't stop is Lamar.
He's not listening.
No, I'm listening.
I'm saying, like, look at Ohio State, for example. Will Howard was a very serviceable quarterback,
Absolutely.
but getting him there was the run game. And Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson were amazing, and the O-line was amazing.
Yeah.
That allowed Will Howard to have one of the greatest playoff runs that we've seen from an Ohio State quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Having a run game is important. Having an offense that can do everything is important. So the fact that Shedeur is put in so many scenarios where it's 3rd and 20 and he has to heave a first down to keep Colorado in it because their defense is giving up 49 points. I mean, you got to give him a little slack.
Okay, but like you can't.
He delivered.
I guess,
sometime.
but Will Howard like went in the 6th round. It's not like Will Howard went first overall because he had an amazing offense around him.
No, not at all.
And Shedeur didn't go first round because he didn't have an amazing offense around him, and he played fine.
I'm just saying, Shedeur is projected as high as he was for a reason. I think he
'Cause
dropped.
Mel Kiper, who doesn't have a
He,
brain cell
dropped. He dropped because
He's
of his
talking about it.
character. I mean,
He
that's
dropped because of
point blank.
outside
And his
factors.
attitude
Let's be honest.
sucks, and
Play
he
on the
was going
field.
into NFL like draft meetings probably like with his
let's be
shirt
honest,
off,
it was-
like
No,
flexing his rollie,
no.
going like prime time, baby.
Let's be honest.
Like
His attitude did have some things to do with it, but it was more of the cameras.
Passed up on him 4 times.
I saw an ESPN. There's an ESPN podcast that came out, and I forget who was talking, but it was someone that was involved with the draft day, and he said that his interview with the Patriots, and I believe his interview, I'm trying to think of the team. I want to say it was the Giants. I think the Giants had put up a personnel sheet. I know y'all see like the interview videos, like all that, where they have the big board and you can draw plays or you can show film or whatever. And I'm pretty sure they put up a defensive set and kind of gave them a play and told them to like walk them through it. And they had purposely put things on their defense to like either mess with them or they want them to like, oh, hey, that's not supposed to be there. Kind of like showing a good quarterback trait. And he said on the podcast that like Shedeur was like, is this the defense y'all run on Sundays? He's like, wow. Like, and I'm like, dude, like you don't say that. Like, you're supposed to,
I mean,
like,
but that's not horrible. Like,
And
there are
then-
guys that have said some pretty bad things.
and then he told the Patriots per report that they don't need a quarterback anyway, so why should he try?
That's valid though.
And it's like
There are plenty of quarterbacks who have done that.
exactly, but I think just because it's Deion's son, and then the news spread so quick about it, it's like it's.
I think
such
teams
a,
were also afraid of how Deion would probably follow Shedeur and bring
Yeah.
so much attention
well,
to
they
the
were talking
team.
like Dallas, like they were saying Deion was going to be the head coach like a couple months ago,
Yeah.
and it's just like that kind of lingers in the media as well. It's like
So all those outside
Kevin
factors.
Stefanski, sorry brother, Deion's the coach.
If it wasn't for that, if Shedeur was John whatever instead of Shedeur Sanders, he's a 3rd, 4th round pick.
If his name's Eli Manning, he's going number 1.
I want to wrap up this segment here because we got to move on. We've been talking about this for about 30 minutes now.
Oh yeah.
So
Is it game time?
I think it's game time, but I want to end it with one quote here from
Okay.
an unnamed assistant coach.
I love unnamed assistant coaches.
He's so entitled. He takes unnecessary sacks. He never plays on time. He has horrible body language. He blames teammates. But the biggest thing is he's not that good.
Wow.
That's what an unnamed assistant coach said about Shedeur Sanders.
That sounds like a white guy from Philly if I've ever heard it.
That just sounds like a hater, man.
I mean,
That's not right about
from hater to hater.
That's crazy.
That's excessive. That's
excessive.
excessive. That's
Listen,
not true
man,
about
sometimes
any
you-
quarterback that's ever been in the draft ever.
I
That's
don't know
not
about
true.
that.
Whoa, Skylar Thompson exists. Come on.
Okay.
Johnny Manziel is
Shedeur,
pretty
prove them
entitled.
wrong, man. Prove them wrong.
All right. Let's play a game here. We're going to take a quick break from the episode to play a little bit of a strange game today. We are going to put together different lineups of 100 total Kentucky athletes and see if they could take down one gorilla. There's not anything that's going to be on the screen. I just wanted to put the visual up there so people knew what we were playing here. This is the most ridiculous game, but
It's trending.
it's trending right now. And so based with the recent trends of people saying, can 100 of one person, beat one gorilla, or just the
Or just
original
100
question was, can 100 people or can 100,
100 men.
take down one gorilla?
Mhm.
And that sparked controversy across the internet. We're here with 100 Kentucky athletes versus one gorilla. I'm just going to list off a couple options, and I want you guys to hit me with what you think.
Got you.
It's going to be a little bit of variation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. My first one here started off simple. Kai already mentioned this on his Twitter. 100 Mark Popes
No.
versus one gorilla.
100 Mark
What do you
Popes
genuinely
cannot.
think?
100 Mark Popes
No.
cannot
No.
beat
I think
a
he's
gorilla.
too sweet.
Yeah.
I think he's
Yeah.
a little too old,
Nice.
maybe.
Yeah.
Let's analyze this. Mark Pope in his prime was not as, muscular.
Not
so
quite as muscular.
We do
as-
have to point out that this gorilla is hungry.
It is a
This is like
gorilla.
vicious,
I'm-
hungry
Yeah.
gorilla. It's like,
It's like
freaking
one that-
growling at
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
And he's about to rip some heads
And
off.
this ain't no zoo gorilla. That's just
No.
that. This is out
is
in the wild.
Harambe revived.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
This is like the guys that raised Tarzan
All right,
gorilla.
I think they
Do you
get it. I
get
think
the
they get it.
point?
Are you guys
Yeah.
ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's go with the next one.
All right. My next one here is I'm going to give it like a split 50-50.
Mini
Got
LeBron.
it.
No. I'm gonna give 50 Anthony Davises and 50 Julius Randles versus one gorilla.
Nah, they're both soft. They
What?
AD would get hurt and Randall's too soft.
You think?
You know what?
AD would
He brings
tear
up
his
a good
ACL.
point.
AD might get hurt.
All those
You think
ADs.
50 ADs are like getting injured in like 30 different ways.
You know,
Let me tell you
with
something.
20
two
of them are, like,
fingers,
tearing ACLs.
with
like-
two fingers, a gorilla could crush.
20 of those
a bone.
ADs are going to
Yeah, that's
roll
crazy.
their ankles before even getting to the
Yeah, on the
gorilla.
way to the gorilla.
Yeah.
He'd
He's
be
gonna,
a,
like slip in the shower in the morning, getting ready for the gorilla
and the
fight.
and the 15 healthy ADs aren't going to be enough.
gonna
and you
be
could have
enough.
even decide they'd all be like game time decisions.
Yeah,
and you'd be
exactly.
like,
Yep.
All right, I'm with you now. I'm with you. This one, I think.
Give me Boogie.
No, real quick. I want to do one before Boogie because that one's coming later.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do one including him. 100 prime hefty lefty Jared Lorenzens versus one gorilla. This
That's
is
an
where
closer.
I think
It's closer.
we might have an argument.
Yeah.
I don't think
Jared,
so.
let's
Like
look, I need to
70
look up
of
his stats or his like his height and weight here.
Yeah.
70
remind
of
me
them
of
are
that.
get took out, but
The 30 of them are putting up a fight.
low key.
When he was at Kentucky, he is 6'4", 284.
284.
So 100, 6'4", 284 Jared Lorenzens versus one gorilla. Let's see how big a gorilla is, because I guess we should.
A gorilla is like 4,000 pounds.
All right, dude.
No. It's like 400 pounds, 6'5".
They are about
350.
4.5 feet, 350.
A Western gorilla is 350. So
Yeah.
A prime male gorilla is like 6'5".
Realistically, 4.5 feet ain't that tall.
They're like 6 foot, bro.
You think?
Yeah.
That-
Those
no,
are like,
because they're all
They're always
hunchback
down. Yeah,
down.
You're right.
When they stand up and get ready to fight, they're like 6'4".
Okay, so 1v1, I think Jared Lorenzen's doing some damage on a gorilla.
What?
Before he gets
No.
ripped to
No,
shreds.
he's not.
Before he gets ripped to shreds. Maybe like one punch to the face, gorilla's like, woo, and then just like comes
Yeah.
back to earth and rips him up. But 100 Jared Lorenzens, I think, could take down one gorilla.
I'm with you.
No, I'm
really?
sorry.
You don't think so?
No, 100
Come
of
on.
them.
Next one.
Next one?
Great fight. Great fight. Gorilla's taking it.
Great fight. Okay, this is
the one.
this is gonna be our last one here.
Okay.
Had to save for last. Obviously, the guy with like the most like temperamental man to ever
Yeah.
play basketball, Boogie Cousins. 100 of them. One gorilla. What do you think?
Yes.
I say-
absolutely.
I say you may need 100 gorillas to take
To
down
take
Boogie.
Boogie Cousins.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you need to do is yell from outside the arena, technical foul on Boogie, and boom, that
Boom.
gorilla's dead.
I feel like if you
Oh,
make
Lord.
one of the boogies mad, the other 99 are just gonna like be on his side and fight back, and then they're like a hive mind of psychopaths, and they'll
Yep.
just rip that gorilla
Right.
to shreds. Probably,
It's getting ridiculous.
it's
getting ridiculous.
out here, man. They'll probably cook that gorilla up
Yeah.
and eat him for dinner, bro.
Can I give y'all, I was thinking about it this morning, can I give y'all my lineup of what I think guaranteed will be a
Yeah.
gorilla?
Yeah.
So, start.
Kentucky?
Yeah, Kentucky
Okay.
guys.
Okay.
50 boogies. Let's get that out the way.
Yeah, 50
We-
boogies is gonna do
half
a
the
lot
team
of
is
damage.
boogies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then
Valid.
20 Anthony Davises
For backup.
for backup. You know,
Because I think 50 boogies might be able to do it by himself.
Yeah, so you need the 20, and then you gotta get 20 Oscar Sheboys.
Oh,
You
No,
gotta
he's too nice.
he's too sweet.
hey, this is life or death right here.
All right.
Oscar's
And then
in there.
10
Where's the
of-
other 15?
The other 15, I'm
Need
going
a 50, 20, 20.
mhm,
You got it.
That's 90.
Is it?
50, 20, 20. Then I'm
Oh,
going
yeah, you're right.
9. I'm
Let's go
going.
to 10.
I'm going 9 Julius Randles
Mm.
Okay.
and 1 Mark Pope, because Mark Pope will take
Got
care of
coach.
the injured guys and
Yeah,
coach.
you gotta
Yep.
coach him up.
Valid.
I like it.
I think that is the guaranteed destroy the gorilla.
I think I'd take him.
I don't even have 100 of anybody. I just say give me John Jones, give me Nagano, and give me
Okay.
John Cena, and I promise that
I
gorilla's
feel
gone,
like
dude.
2 UFC champions and a WWE champion could probably rip
That's
up,
what I'm
could probably
saying.
rip up a gorilla.
That's what I'm saying. John Cena
John-
just
John
AAA
Jones
him,
is a bad
you know what I
man.
mean?
Let me ask you guys.
That's a bad man.
I'd put John Jones one-on-one with him.
I
100
think
See what
John
happens.
Jones could take down a gorilla one-on-one.
100 guys and us 3 are in the lineup against that gorilla. Are we
I'm
making
running.
it out alive?
I'm not putting myself.
No,
I'm
we're
not-
fighting.
no.
We're fighting.
No, we're not.
No,
Are
I'm
we making
hiding-
it out
I'm
alive?
digging a hole and burying myself with
All
nothing
100
but straws
all
through
100
my
of us are
nostrils so I
working
can
together.
breathe. I'm just gonna stay underground forever.
All 100 of us are working together though, and us 3 are in the mix. Are we living?
I'm throwing you 2 in the fire, bro. You guys are
I'm
dead.
not living, no.
Yeah, no, I think we wouldn't make it.
I'm singing apple bottom jeans with him in the van like I'm Kevin James, dude.
Oh, that's great.
I'm friending the gorilla, you know what I'm saying?
All right, dude. I think that's a good way to end this. I
Yeah.
think it's a good way to end it.
Great
the
analysis,
last-
guys.
Last episode of the semester. It's crazy.
Crazy.
Can't believe it.
Can't believe it. Smiling through it all. Can't believe my life.
It's been a pleasure, y'all. It's been a pleasure.
pleasure.
All right, guys. That's the
All right,
outro.
all right.
Thank you for watching and listening to another week of Kernel at the Buzzer. Make sure to follow us at KY Kernel Sports on Twitter, and also check out our website at kykernel.com. Once again, I've been your host, Kai McClelland, and we want to thank you for catching up with the Kernel.